Welcome back to English TalkNest, where we share ideas that help you live, grow, and become your best self, one conversation at a time. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Cindy. Thank you for joining us today. Whether you're driving, taking a walk, or just lying in bed thinking about your goals, we're so glad you're here. Today, we're talking about something that can change everything about how you chase your dreams and how you keep chasing them even when you don't feel like it.
That's right. The topic sounds simple, but it's a game changer. Why discipline beats motivation. You probably heard it before, right? You just need to stay motivated. That's what people always say. But let's be honest, motivation doesn't last.
Exactly. One day you wake up full of energy, ready to conquer the world. The next day you hit snooze, skip your workout, and tell yourself, I'll start again tomorrow.
And tomorrow becomes next week, next month, sometimes never.
But what if I told you that motivation was never the problem? What if the real secret to success is something quieter, less exciting, but far more powerful?
That secret is discipline. The ability to show up again and again, even when you don't feel like it.
That's right. The topic sounds simple, but it's a game changer. Why discipline beats motivation.
You've probably heard it before, right? You just need to stay motivated. That's what people always say. But let's be honest, motivation doesn't last.
Exactly. One day you wake up full of energy, ready to conquer the world. The next day you hit snooze, skip your workout, and tell yourself, I'll start again tomorrow.
And tomorrow becomes next week, next month, sometimes never.
But what if I told you that motivation was never the problem? What if the real secret to success is something quieter, less exciting, but far more powerful?
That secret is discipline. The ability to show up again and again, even when you don't feel like it.
That's what we're exploring today. Not just why discipline beats motivation, but how you can build it, protect it, and make it your best friend.
Before we dive in, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a goal that you were so excited about? Maybe starting a business, losing weight, or learning a new skill. And in the beginning, you were on fire. You watched videos, made plans, and even told your friends, this time I'm serious.
But then a few weeks later, the spark fades, the excitement disappears, and you're left wondering, what happened to my motivation?
We've all been there. I've been there too.
Same here. I remember when I first tried to wake up early every morning to read and exercise, I was so inspired for about 3 days.
That's about how long motivation usually lasts.
Exactly. Then on day 4, my bed felt warmer, the alarm felt louder, and I started making excuses.
And that's when discipline steps in. See, discipline doesn't care how you feel. It's the bridge between your goals and your results.
Motivation makes you start. Discipline keeps you going.
Let's explore this idea with a story. Imagine two friends, Sarah and Mike. Both decide they want to run a marathon. Sarah is fired up. She watches motivational videos, buys new running shoes, and posts on social media, I'm going to run 42 kilometers.
Meanwhile, Mike doesn't say much. He just starts running, slowly, consistently. Rain or shine, he's out there every morning.
After 2 weeks, Sarah's excitement fades. Her legs hurt, mornings feel too early, and she starts skipping runs. But Mike, he's still out there, step by step, no matter what.
Fast forward 6 months, the marathon day comes. Sarah isn't ready. Mike finishes strong. Not because he was more motivated, but because he was more disciplined.
That's the thing. Motivation is like a match. It burns bright, but it burns fast. Discipline is the candle, slow, steady, and it lasts.
Discipline doesn't depend on emotion, it depends on commitment.
And that's what separates the dreamers from the doers. When people say, I wish I was more motivated, what they really mean is, I wish I could make myself do things even when I don't feel like it. That's discipline.
Exactly. Motivation says, I'll do it when I feel like it. Discipline says, I'll do it because I said I would.
And that's what builds self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, you're telling your brain, I can trust myself.
That trust becomes power. Over time, it becomes identity. You stop saying, I want to be disciplined, and start saying, I am disciplined.
And that's when everything changes. Your habits, your confidence, your results.
After the break, we'll talk about how discipline is actually easier than motivation once you understand how it works, and how to train your mind to make discipline a daily habit.
So grab your coffee, take a breath, and stay with us. You're listening to English TalkNest. Welcome back to English TalkNest. If you're just joining us, we've been talking about the powerful truth that discipline beats motivation every single time.
Yes, and if you've ever wondered why discipline seems so hard to build, but so easy for others, we're about to break it down.
Let's start with something simple. Discipline isn't natural, it's trained. Nobody is born disciplined. Not athletes, not writers, not entrepreneurs. It's a muscle, and like every muscle, it grows when you use it.
That's such an important point because many people think, I'm just not a disciplined person. But that's not true. You become disciplined through repetition, not through personality.
Exactly. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't need motivation to do it. You don't wake up thinking, am I motivated to brush today? You just do it.
Because it's part of your identity, it's a habit. You've trained your brain that brushing is non negotiable.
Now, imagine if you could train your mind to treat your goals the same way. Studying, exercising, working, creating, all just things you do, not things you wait to feel ready for.
That's the magic of discipline. It keeps you moving forward no matter how you feel in the moment.
There's a famous story about a writer who was asked how he manages to write every single day. He said, I only write when inspiration strikes. Fortunately, it strikes every morning at 9 a.m.
That's discipline in action. He doesn't wait for motivation, he creates the condition for it to appear.
Because when you show up consistently, you create momentum, and momentum is stronger than motivation.
Motivation is a spark, momentum is a fire.
Exactly. The truth is, most people lose because they stop showing up. They wait to feel good before taking action, but action itself is what creates that good feeling.
It's like exercising. You rarely want to do it, but you never regret it after.
So the real question isn't, how can I stay motivated? It's, how can I keep showing up when I'm not?
Let's talk about that because this is where discipline becomes easier than motivation.
Right. Motivation relies on emotion, but emotions are unpredictable. Some days you feel inspired. Other days you feel tired, sad, or distracted.
Discipline relies on decision. When you've already decided what to do and when to do it, you don't waste energy negotiating with yourself.
That's such a great point. Every time you decide again, should I go to the gym? Should I study? You lose energy. But if it's already part of your plan, there's no debate.
You just do it. Discipline is freedom because you stop arguing with your own mind.
Exactly. Think of discipline like autopilot for success. You design your habits, and then your habits design your life.
I love that. And the beautiful part is discipline compounds. When you stay consistent, even for small things, your self-trust grows.
You stop needing to believe in miracles because you start believing in yourself.
You know, we all have two voices inside us. One says, do it now. The other says, later.
The first one builds your future. The second one steals it.
That's powerful. Every time you choose the first voice, even for something small, waking up when the alarm rings, finishing that project, turning off the phone and focusing, you strengthen your inner leader.
And over time, that leader becomes louder than the lazy one.
That's when you start seeing real change. Because discipline doesn't just change your schedule, it changes your character.
Exactly. You become someone who follows through. And that's the kind of person people trust at work, in relationships, in life.
Let's take a simple example. Imagine a student learning English. He studies only when he feels motivated. Some days, 2 hours, some days, none.
Another student studies 20 minutes every day, even when she doesn't feel like it. Guess who speaks better English after 3 months?
No surprise, it's the second one, because consistency beats intensity.
That's the principle of discipline. Small steps done daily beat big steps done rarely.
Motivation makes you move fast for a short time. Discipline makes you move slow, but forever.
So if you're listening right now and thinking, I don't have discipline, I want you to know that's not true. You just haven't trained it yet.
And training starts small. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. or run marathons. Start with one habit, one promise to yourself.
And keep it. That's how you begin building self-respect.
After the break, we'll share 3 simple steps to build discipline that lasts. Even when life gets messy, motivation disappears, and you feel like giving up.
Stay with us. This is English TalkNest. Welcome back to English TalkNest. We've talked about how motivation can fade and how discipline stays. But now, let's talk about something even more important: how to actually build it.
Yes, because discipline isn't magic. It's built, step by step, through choices, habits, and commitment. And today, we're breaking it down into 3 simple steps that anyone, including you, can follow.
The first step is start small. Most people fail because they start too big. They try to change their entire life overnight. Wake up at 5 a.m., run 10 kilometers, meditate for an hour, eat clean, read a book, all in one day.
And then, after 3 days, they crash because their brain feels overwhelmed.
Exactly. Discipline grows from success, not stress. If you start small and succeed, you build confidence. That's the key.
Think of discipline like planting a seed. You don't plant an oak tree overnight. You plant something tiny and you water it every day. That daily care, that's discipline.
Let's take a real example. Suppose you want to build a reading habit. Instead of saying, I'll read for 1 hour every day, say, I'll read 1 page after breakfast.
1 page, that's it. But here's the magic. Once you start reading 1 page, you often end up reading 5, 10, or 20, because starting is the hardest part.
And every time you do it, you tell yourself, I keep my promises. That message, repeated daily, rewires your brain.
Start small, but never skip. That's how small becomes strong.
The second step is create systems, not goals.
Now, that might sound strange. Aren't goals important?
They are, but goals are results. Systems are what get you there. For example, your goal might be to get fit. Your system is to exercise every morning at 7 a.m.
Your goal might be to learn a language. Your system is to study for 20 minutes after dinner.
Here's why systems work. Motivation focuses on outcomes. Discipline focuses on actions. And when you focus on what you can control, your actions, success takes care of itself.
There's a saying I love: you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems.
Exactly. A system protects you on bad days. When motivation is gone, your system is still there, like a safety net.
Let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine used to say, I want to write a book. For years, she said that, but she never wrote. Then she changed her system. She told herself, every morning, I'll write 1 paragraph before checking my phone.
And?
She finished her book 6 months later, not because she had more motivation, but because she built a system that made writing automatic.
That's such a powerful lesson. Discipline thrives in structure. Motivation dies in chaos.
And here's the third step, and maybe the hardest: embrace boredom.
Oh, yes, because discipline isn't always exciting. Sometimes it's boring, repetitive, and silent. But that's where growth lives.
People often think success feels thrilling every day. It doesn't. Most of the time, success feels like routine.
Exactly. You don't see the progress while it's happening, only when you look back.
Let's talk about professional athletes. They don't skip training just because it's boring. They show up again and again, doing the same moves, the same drills, even when no one's watching.
That's what separates champions from amateurs. They don't need excitement, they need purpose.
And this applies to life too. Whether you're building a business, saving money, or improving yourself, most of it isn't glamorous, but it's necessary.
So, if you want to master discipline, you have to fall in love with repetition. You have to find joy in showing up, not just in winning.
Because success is built in silence, long before it's seen by others.
That's such a powerful truth.
There's a quote I love: "The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones."
That's what discipline is, moving your mountain one small step at a time.
And you might not see the top yet, but every step counts. Every small act of discipline is proof that you're growing stronger.
It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent.
Exactly. Discipline isn't about doing everything right. It's about not giving up when it's hard.
And that's what makes it stronger than motivation. Motivation fades when things get boring, discipline endures.
So remember these 3 steps. Start small, create systems, embrace boredom.
If you do those 3 things, you'll build discipline that doesn't depend on how you feel, it depends on who you decide to be.
After the break, we'll talk about how to stay disciplined in a world full of distractions, social media, comfort, and excuses. Because discipline isn't just about working harder, it's about focusing smarter.
Stay with us. You're listening to English TalkNest. Welcome back to English TalkNest. We've explored what makes discipline stronger than motivation and how to build it step by step. Now let's talk about something we all struggle with: how to stay disciplined in a world full of distractions.
Because it's not easy, right? Everywhere we look, there's something trying to steal our attention. Our phones, social media, notifications, endless choices. Discipline feels harder now, not because we're weaker, but because the world is louder.
That's so true. Every time you pick up your phone, there are hundreds of voices telling you what's urgent, what's trending, what you should care about. But discipline whispers, focus on what truly matters.
And that's the challenge, to hear that quiet voice beneath the noise.
Let's be honest, discipline isn't just about doing the right thing, it's also about not doing the wrong things. Protecting your focus is part of staying disciplined.
Exactly. If you keep your environment full of distractions, even the strongest willpower will collapse. So make discipline easier by designing your space for success.
For example, if you want to study, don't keep your phone next to you. If you want to sleep early, don't scroll in bed. If you want to eat better, don't fill your kitchen with junk food.
Right, because discipline isn't just about self-control. It's about self-design. You can't always control your feelings, but you can control your surroundings.
And here's the truth. When you make good choices easy and bad choices hard, discipline becomes natural.
That's the beauty of preparation. You don't have to fight temptation if you've already removed it.
You know, people often think discipline means restriction, like it takes away your freedom, but it's actually the opposite.
Absolutely. Discipline creates freedom. When you're disciplined, you're not controlled by your impulses. You control them.
When you wake up early, you control your time. When you work with focus, you control your future. When you eat right, you control your health.
And when you follow through on your promises, you control your confidence.
Motivation feels good in the moment. Discipline feels good for life.
That's powerful, because freedom isn't doing whatever you want. Freedom is being able to do what's right, even when you don't want to.
Exactly. And that's something only discipline can give you.
Here's something I want every listener to remember. Discipline isn't something you do, it's something you become.
Yes, you can't fake it forever. You can't keep forcing yourself every day if you don't change how you see yourself.
That's why discipline starts with identity. Stop saying, "I'm trying to be disciplined." Start saying, "I'm the kind of person who keeps going."
That's a small shift, but it changes everything. When your identity changes, your actions follow.
If you believe you're lazy, your brain will look for proof of that. But if you believe you're consistent, your brain will start acting that way.
That's how discipline becomes effortless when it's part of who you are.
There's a story about a retired soldier who was interviewed years after leaving the army. The interviewer asked, "Do you miss being in the military?"
He smiled and said, "I don't miss the uniforms or the commands. I miss the discipline. I miss waking up every day knowing exactly what to do, knowing I could trust myself to do it."
That's powerful, because that's what most people are missing, trust in themselves. They don't need more motivation, they need to believe. When I say I'll do it, I will.
And that trust only comes from discipline, from keeping promises to yourself, again and again, even when no one's watching.
That's the quiet strength of discipline. It's not loud, not dramatic, not full of fireworks. It's the calm confidence that says, I can handle this.
Let's imagine what happens when you live with discipline.
You stop chasing inspiration and start creating progress. You stop waiting for perfect conditions and start moving through imperfect ones.
You stop starting over because you never stop. You become reliable, focused, steady.
And one day, you look back and realize you've become the person you once wished you were.
And that's the moment you understand. Discipline didn't take your energy. It gave it back to you.
It gave you clarity, it gave you time, it gave you peace.
If there's one message to take away from today's episode, it's this. Motivation will get you started. Discipline will get you finished.
Motivation fades when things get hard. Discipline grows stronger every time you push through.
Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a choice.
And that choice, repeated every day, is how you build the life you want.
So if you're listening right now and you're tired, unmotivated, or discouraged, take a deep breath. You don't need to feel inspired to start. You just need to start.
And when you do, you'll realize that the act of doing creates its own motivation. The act of showing up creates its own confidence.
Because discipline beats motivation. Always. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend who might need a little push or a quiet reminder that they already have what it takes.
And remember, you don't have to do everything today. Just take one small step. Do it again tomorrow. And the next day. That's how greatness is built.
This is English TalkNest, where ideas grow, and so do you.
Until next time, stay strong, stay steady, and stay disciplined.